Hi, everyone. Good morning and welcome to Business Process Compliances and Cybersecurity in your Digital Transformation Roadmap. I'm your host, Nabila Ismail. Now, today we are going to be talking how businesses have shifted, have shifted its norm into a digital environment. So we have some updates on how we are virtually adapting and the new business's norm to ensure its efficiency is sustained with the rising challenges due to the pandemic that the global network is experiencing right now. So in collaboration of Securemetric and Innov8tif and also Netassist, joining me today we have Hassan Tabriz from Securemetric and also Azlin from Innov8tif and also Mr. Han Hun Ping from Netassist. We will discuss how all these issues can be addressed effectively without impacting your businesses badly. Okay, so here's a glimpse of today's agenda. This session will take approximately for 1 hour and some rules of the webinar session. So this session will be recorded and okay. This session will be recorded and it would be best if the audience can mute your audio so that we can have a perfect environment for the speakers to speak. And also please leave your questions in the chat box below and these will be addressed toward the end of the session. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to invite our first speaker of today, Hassan Tabriz from Securemetric. Okay, please welcome Hassan.
Hello, a very good morning to everyone. Thank you for taking out time in attending this webinar. Nabila, next slide, please.
Okay.
All right. So today we'll be discussing about business compliances and digital transformation. So as we are experiencing this pandemic, the business norms have been shifting from physical to online, and companies and businesses around the globe are shifting their businesses from physical to digital. As such, there'll be a lot of challenges being faced in how can they comply on the digital environment and how can they protect their businesses and along with complying with the corresponding acts and laws. Next, please.
Okay.
As such, for this session, we'll be focusing on the business processes and the workflows. Usually, when we go for a day-to-day environment, we will be having some memos, some business agreements, contracts, and this requires a lot of approvals. And sometimes it will be from the business owners, from the directors to the CEOs. And we all understand and we are well aware that getting these signatures will be a big challenge, specifically to get the time, get the availability, and so on. So we will need to address this when we are shifting our focus towards the digital environment. And how can we enhance our experiences within the organization as well as to the end customers as well. Secondly, when we're talking about signatures, so there will be also, as we have heard earlier, will be also need to address on the agreements, on the contracts, and how do we get this complied to the legal status when we move it online. And lastly, the validity. When we say validity, the physical signatures, when you sign a paper, get it stamped and get it endorsed, is pretty valid. So you take out the paper, the agreement, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, you produce this in the court of law, and it's still valid. But then when you move it to online, people are generally unaware, especially the businesses, like how can they still may transform to digital, but still make it valid. So we'll be addressing these challenges in our session. Next slide, please. So what we would to address these business challenges, our approach would be to implement a digital signature solution, which will help to address the electronic signatures as well as digital signature, which will comply with the laws as well. And when we talk about signatures, then there'll be questions on how do we make sure that the persons are onboarded, making it seamless onboarding, as well as the processes workflows. So we have our Innov8tif on board as well. So we partner with Innov8tif, which will help you to do seamless digital onboarding, as well as to apply and get the corresponding approvals in a seamless manner. Talking about legality, so it's also imperative to get certificates from a trusted certificate authority to make sure that the documents being signed are legally binding and available for a long-term period. Next, please. So what benefits do we have when we move from physical to digital? Basically, we have been doing this process for physical papers, physical signatures and agreements and memos for a long time. And we have become accustomed to it. And making it online, yeah, it will be a big transformation for some organizations and for some businesses. But at the same time, it will help to ease the processes and getting onboarding. So in a way, when you're signing document, it should be pretty straightforward and easy to achieve. So you should be able to sign the documents anytime and anyway, for that matter. You don't need to be physically present, or you don't have to be in front of the PC. Even you should be able to sign the document on your mobile phone. And right now, people have been using these smartphones like 80% of the time, from banking to shopping to communications. So this is the norm, and this is going to stay for a long time to come. So we have to take advantage of this technology as well. Second thing is benefits of this approach would be the non-repudiation, meaning the person who is signing cannot refute the claim that he has not signed the agreement or the document. And this is also in compliance with the Digital Signature Act of 1987, which we will address this in the next slides. And also, when we adopt this solution, it should be cost efficient. It's not just that you have been moved to the digital, but it is too expensive to implement the solution, too expensive to maintain, too expensive for the operations and so on. It shouldn't be that way. It should be cost efficient. So that will be the benefits of implementing this solution. Next, please. So let's talk about what is Digital Signature Act and why is this relevant. So when we talk about this, it's basically to make sure that the documents being signed are valid. And as we see here, it's an act to provision and regulate the use of digital signatures. So when you are using electronic platform to sign documents using certificates issued by a certificate authority, it becomes already legally binding. And this DSA also goes on to mention how these certificates to be managed, to be provisioned by the certificate authority, and how can the certificate authority make sure that the person being issued this certificate is valid and genuine. And also, the signatory has to have the control of the data. So only the signatory is the one who is supposed to sign the document, to make sure that it's genuine and valid. And lastly, the certificate, the data being attached to this signature must be identifiable. So if I'm signing the document, I should be the one to be identified, like, okay, Hassan has signed this document. So we have been talking a lot about digital signatures, certificate authorities. So what is this all about? So next slide, please. So digital signature is basically a way to identify the signer of the document and to make sure that the validity is correct and genuine. And this will be able to achieve the one of the four pillars of security, which is confidentiality, identity, integrity, and non-repudiation. So when we say about all this, so we'll be thinking, what is the digital signature in the first place? So it's basically electronic certificate which is issued by a certificate authority, and a certificate can be issued self-signed or a trusted CA. When we say about trusted CA, you can think of RAFCOM, DigiCert, TM. Those are the ones who are licensed CA in Malaysia. And if you can get a certificate from this trusted authority, and then use it to sign a document, it can be used for legally binding purposes. And this certificate, when they issue a certificate, it's a stamp to say that they verify your identity, and then they validate and say that, okay, they are standing on your behalf to say that you're genuine. So that's why a DSA refers to being certificates issued by a licensed CA, and then they regulate those certificates. And also they make sure that the certificates, the document being signed is valid at the time of signing. So certificate, as you are aware, may be valid for like 1 year, 2 year, in general is 1 year, and then it's either renewed or revoked or suspended. So after 5 years, then how can you make sure that the certificate is still valid? I mean, you have signed the document 5 years earlier, and right now, what is the status of that document? So there's a term called timestamping and long-term validity. So when a document is produced in the court, for example, 5 years down the road, and there's a dispute, then the certificate authority will come into the picture, and they testify that this signature was valid at the time of signing, even though the certificate is expired or not available anymore currently, but it is still valid. So this is also to address the DSA acts, as well as to have a faith and confidence in this digital solution as well. Next slide, please. So Securemetric has a solution which can address all these concerns and much more. So you're able to achieve document signing anytime and anywhere. Basically, our solution is hosted on cloud, so it can be availed easily. Onboarding is very easy. Registration is easy. You can use it very simple, straightforward, as well as you can use it via mobile. You can achieve non-repudiation, and it complies with the DSA Act, and which will link the signature to the signatory. We also provide 2FA. So we had some questions from our customers, like how can you make sure that the signer is the actual one? So if I'm signing, but then somebody else steals my certificate so they can sign on my behalf, then how can I make sure that it's me? So we all have also implemented second factor authentication. So we will get a notification, a verification via SMS or mobile app before we sign the document, to make sure that the person signing the document is the actual person. Another key feature of the solution is supports any file type, but ultimately the output will be a PDF, because it's the only recognized file extension which supports digital signatures. We have also support certificates from licensed CA. Basically, we have also partners with the licensed CA, so you don't have to go and register yourself separately. So we provide this included in the solution. And we also support e-signature, stamping, and so on, so as to make sure that, even e-signature, we have to be something physical, because digital certificate is something which we cannot see even if you print out, but people need to see something physically so they can relate it back to the physical document. So we also provide these features. And another most important thing is the logged and secure interactive reports to track back who has signed and what has taken place for that particular document. With this, I'll come to the end of my session, and I'll hand back the baton to the moderator. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Hassan, for your topic on business compliance and digital transformation. And right now, I would like to pass the floor to our second speaker, Ms. Azleen from Innov8tif, who will talk about business as usual through secure remote customer onboarding. Without further ado, please welcome.
Hi everyone, thank you Nabila and thank you Hassan for such an amazing sharing with us today. So maybe you can go to the next slide. My slide, business as usual. Okay, great, thank you. So let me introduce myself. My name is Azlin Shazwani and I'm the business consultant from Innov8tif Solutions. So the topic that I'm going to share with you all today is about how we can do business as usual through secure remote customer onboarding. And the terms that we always use that call as EKYC. E stands for electronic and KYC is for know your customer. But easy to understand, the terms also sometimes refer as how to onboard your customer in non-face-to-face situation or where the document is not presented physically. But you want to onboard the customer. So it's actually we help you to electronically verify the customer identity that you are going to onboard. Next slide, please. Okay, these are some of the business challenges. I only highlighted two here, but I believe there are a lot more. I believe there are businesses from certain sectors experience a significant reduction of new customer registration, especially during this time of trial of COVID-19. And the term business as usual, the topic is being thrown by a lot of businesses in response to the current COVID-19 pandemic. Businesses are being forced to assess their current technology, current software to be able to catch up with the current changes. And I believe now and future, we will be saying a lot more and more businesses need to switch from their normal way of customer onboarding. Maybe currently your customer need to submit the form physically or need to go to the branch or kiosk just to sign up for an account. But they have to switch from a manual way to a little bit more digital way. And because of unable to verify your customers online without face-to-face citing or readers for verification of customers ID will be the reason of point number one. Next slide, please. Okay, this is some of approach strategy. We have adopted AI, artificial intelligence based online ID, ID verification technology to realize contactless customer onboarding. And I understand that the implementation of our MCO, PKPD has led to a new norm where it is normal nowadays when people as much as possible try to avoid any physical contact. And they don't want to touch anyone also because I know that everyone is scared. I was scared and businesses also don't want to take any risk. And we should also be able to electronically verify ID document and users facial identity in real time. And of course, we are ready for various Asian countries' ID and as well as passport with MRZ worldwide. Next slide, please. Okay, these are some of the benefits of digital customer onboarding. There are 4 points there. First is customer experience. The importance of great customer experience is very essential, very important in the many business who are looking to attract not only digital savvy customer but also every potential customers. Like I said before in the previous slide, that people nowadays will try their best to avoid crowd, and we are no longer can expect them. Our customer want to queue at the branch just to sign up an account. Even when you order your food, when the Grab driver come to your house, you don't really want to have any contact with them and basically prefer to do a lot of self-service. 24/7 customer onboarding automated by AI algorithms. This is the obvious benefits is that you are not going to be restricted to any operation hours. So maybe before this, you only can open your kiosk or open your branch from 9 to 6 or maybe from 8 to 5. But with the implementation of digital customer onboarding, after this, you can onboard your customer whether it is a day or night, 12 a.m., 12 p.m. doesn't matter, because your customers still can onboard themselves, self-service, and you still can process it. Next is customer conversion. Customer needs now, we have to understand that, are changing, and they are looking new ways to interact with the businesses, with the service providers. So with the current situation like now, effective digitization making you a more competent market player and capable to retain the right customer. Sorry. And lastly, also we have to comply to regulatory requirement. Next slide, please. So as a solution, use handphone as tools to digitally onboard the customer. Everyone able to use the handphone to digitally onboard themselves. Handphone, I really like handphone because it is handy, user friendly, and everyone, at least, I believe everyone here at least must have one handphone with you, or maybe some of you have 2 or 3 phones, one for family, one for your customers, right? So it is easy way to second is identity data collection. Is the one of the crucial part to record your potential customer details. So in this step, you will be collecting data as well as documents from your customer, like maybe passport or maybe my card, depends on the what is your use case. Next is facial recognition and liveness test. So this is the facial part. Okay, after we collect your customer details, we do the facial recognition part. In the facial part where the selfie, okay, selfie will be used to determine 2 things. First, when you submit the IC, the question is, are you really submitting your own IC? Or actually you are easily took someone else's IC and submit. So we want to mitigate this kind of cases. And second is liveness test. So this liveness test is for, we want to test whether the selfie, the picture of the face, is it live or not live? So the agent will be able to tell you, example, if you take this picture from a screen or from a video or from even from a face mask, or the engine will be able to tell you that this is something wrong with this picture, so it is not alive. Yeah, something like that. Document authenticity verification. Yeah, it is another vital step in customer onboarding journey that I believe contributes towards great customer experience. After your customers are required to scan their ID, submit their facial, and then the authenticity checking of the document will take place and verified and considered. So it will help you to decide your customer onboarding journey. And lastly is screening identity checks. To be compliant with the guidelines, you should ensure that you are not easily onboarding someone without firstly assessing their risk and evaluating what is their footprint actually. And customer data that was collected earlier during the ID data collection step that was collected will be used to check their identity against database. Next slide, please. So we have received quite a number of engagement sharing with you all. I cannot name it, but we received one engagement from a hospital. Yeah, I believe hospital is hotspot now. Okay, hospital. So from one country. So actually, this is for patient registration, where they are worried about the their patient registration. So if someone comes to their hospital and wanted to do COVID-19 test, so they really want to avoid any direct contact, don't want to touch them. So the patient can register themselves either by using a phone, or maybe they can install a kiosk at the place, and so they try to reduce the risk. And also we also receive numbers of registration use case where they want it to register the customers, vendors, yeah, maybe someone comes to your office and wanted to have a meeting or an event, so they want it to be in a more digital way. So this is for self-registration before they come to your place, and they can early register themselves. Okay, second one is sign up online at Innov8tif.com. Just wanted to invite all of you, go to Innov8tif.com, and you will see, we want to help you to digitize your businesses, your onboarding processes, and you will see more products there, and maybe you can get some idea and just send inquiries to us, and we'll be able to help you. Okay, special today that selected participants are entitled for a 3-month trial of OKID. So OKID is actually one of our products. It is an OCR to extract relevant information from an ID, passport, MyCard, and auto-populated into your system. So after this, my colleague will send you an email and just follow up with her. Next slide, please. So this is a demo that I prepared earlier. So in this demo, I will show you how the data collecting part, the facial part, yeah, how it be done, and you can implement this into your application. So maybe we can start the demo. So this is the OCR part where it snap on the picture of the IC and then take a selfie. So this is the facial recognition part. Click next and take your selfie picture. So we use silent-based technology where only need one single picture. So you don't have, maybe I believe you experience like open your mouth, blink your eyes. So that one is, we also have that. But with this one, we silent based. So from here, you will see the OK face result there. Pass, yeah, and click done. So after that, for the document authentication, we will process at the back end and return to you the result and help you to come up with decision either to onboard or not onboard your customer. Okay, I believe next question, next slide, please. Okay, I believe my sessions comes to an end. So if you have any questions, you can put in the chat box, and I will try to answer after this. So I pass the screen to moderator. Thank you all.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Azlin, for your very fruitful sharing. So I would like to emphasize on everyone, on the audience, especially if you have any question, please feel free to drop your question in the chat box, and then we will come to it toward the end of the session. And then now I would like to invite our third speaker, Mr. Han Foon Ping from Netassist, to talk about his topic regarding security risk assessment. Okay, please welcome Mr. Han.
Okay, hi. Can you hear? Okay.
Yes, Mr. Han, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay, good. Sorry. First of all, sorry, my apologies for a little bit glitch here. My name is Han. The company that I represent actually is owned by a company called MyCris. MyCris is an internet service provider, which we focus on managed security and internet connectivity. Today, the connectivity is affected by security, where the accessibility of data may be affected if you have ransomware, you have DDoS, which is why Netassist, becoming the subsidiary of MyCris, working together closely to offer managed security services. In fact, to give you some confidence, to really do cybersecurity services, you need to make sure that the company is, in terms of the way they conduct their security assessment services, are internationally certified. So this is the certificate to show that we are 27,000 certified, specifically in the area of security monitoring and assessment. And these are all the various different awards, not only in Malaysia, but also we have been successfully conducting some big data analytics for security attack in Jakarta, and won some awards there. Let me just go straight to the point of the trend that we have noticed, and also quite similar to what other organizations have seen. Phishing attack has been the top threat as of today, simply because this is one of the easiest way and most commonly successful way to attack a company. Why is that so? There's a lot of myth. People say, hey, I got firewall. However, firewall is very good. In fact, there are some of them that have some machine learning, artificial intelligence, sandboxing, all sorts of cool technologies to prevent outsider from coming into your network. However, firewall has not been really successfully in protecting and investigating all the traffic from inside out. That's exactly the same reason why the cyber criminals is trying to attack an organization by sending an email through phishing and try to get the users to initiate the communication from within. Once the activity is initiated from within, the firewall will not be able to detect. And what they're trying to talk about is that still targeting at the weakest link, which is human. And that has actually caused, in fact, a huge amount of search of cyber attack through phishing. In Malaysia alone, last month, there is a statistic shown by MDEC. Cyber attack through phishing has gone up 600%. So which is why we strongly urge many organizations to start conducting their phishing assessment, because this will be the first step that can help them to prevent such cyber attack. Indeed, one of the first way is that, number one, deploy some phishing program to look into how serious is or how good is your user in prevention of such things. After that, based on the assessment, then you can start conducting different training to mitigate such threat. We have seen many situations, despite our big organizations, millions of dollars of investment being put in to your virus protection on your parameter for endpoint. All it takes is just one ignorant user clicking on it, and then there will be, all your investment will be gone down to the drain. Another things that we have seen is that various situation has caused the firewall to fail. Of course, insider attack is one of the most common thing that we have seen. Even though you may have a very good firewall, but if you do not patch it properly, it still can be one of the vulnerabilities that the hacker exploit to come in. We have seen various situations where the misconfiguration of the firewall is causing the entire organization to be compromised. And DDoS is another reason why your firewall failed, because simply there are too huge amount of traffic coming in, making your firewall cannot handle. And we have seen cases, in fact, despite today, a lot of applications layer aware kind of firewall. They say, hey, I have an application layer firewall. But due to the fact that different applications have a different behavior, many, when they implement a firewall, they do not really study the behavior of the application and simply go to the certain default mode. And that's how a lot of vulnerability can be exploited. And basically nowadays, a lot of attack is actually attack through the application layer. And the last one is that despite of you may have all the necessary rules, updaters, and patches, all the alerts created, if you do not really understand it and act on it, and it's still at the end of the day, there may be some false positive, or maybe there's some real attack coming in and without you knowing. So with that, we like to actually introduce the idea of this thing called Security Operations Center. So traditionally, if you have your office, if you have factory, of course, you will actually lock your office or your factories to make sure that only the guy who has the key, the right guy, to come in. And even though they come in, but you still need to put a CCTV to make sure that these are the people that will behave the right way. And still not enough, you still need to have a Jaga, security guard, looking behind the CCTV to make sure those people are moving around in your facilities, in your office, in the factory, they behave the right way. So today is an era of digital business. You are putting a firewall safeguarding from outside, and you're putting antivirus and all those which is inside. Same thing, you do not only stop there, you should also look into getting some kind of security guard, but it's a cybersecurity guard. Start collecting all this information to make sure that even those people are within your legitimate area, they are the legitimate user, but they are behave the right way. That's where a SOC, having a team of security analysts, collecting various data and making sure that they are behave the right way. I'd like to introduce to you, this is what we do. SOC is a place that 24/7, we have security analysts collecting all this data and help our customer to detect abnormal behavior. And when it comes any attack, we will help inform our customers and help them to protect. This is the other SOC that we actually successfully helping our Jakarta customer. Some of them are government, some of them are banks, doing the monitoring and mitigation and protections. This is just a quick technical idea. For the bad guy, of course, it will block by a firewall. But usually the culprit is the guy who have the right access, who come into your network. That's where we strongly urge our customer to implement some kind of monitoring tools. And then let a 24/7 group of people collecting all those data and doing correlation and doing analytics. And if they detect any activities that is not right, we'll inform you or we protect for you. Okay, we just like to simplify. At the end of the day, today, a lot of people are talking about cyber attack when people work from home. So I like to simplify to make to give some recommendation in this thing called 333. Which what I try to do is that let's categorize into 3 categories of way to protect. First 3 is that let's set the objective right. The most important things that when we want to actually design our strategy to cybersecurity, we want to make sure that the area of availability of your data, the integrity when I access the data, to make sure that it doesn't really be changed for the wrong reason, and also the confidentiality of the data must be intact. So when we design the security, put these 3 things in mind, and when you do the impact study, these are the 3 key areas to look into. The second 3 is that when we start implementing our security strategies, we do not only want to actually implement technology, we want to make sure that it is a 3-pronged strategy where you incorporate people and process. Only that it becomes a holistic strategy for cyber defense. And we talk about the data. When we talk about data, it's not only the whatever data that in your notebook, in your server. Of course, that is very important. That's the first thing that we talk about, the cyber, which is also in the cloud. However, physical consideration is also important. Should you have servers? Should you have your PCs logging into in your office or in your home when people work from home? Physically, there's certain consideration that you need to look into to make sure that data are safe in the physical manner. And of course, very importantly, is that the people must be equipped with the necessary knowledge, the way they're handling the data. To make it even more systematically, and this is not something that is created new by us. This is something that has been around, that people talk about. To really protect the data, this is the defense in that where at the central core of it, you are talking about data. To look into the protection of the data, you actually will start asking the question of whether do you have encryption when people are accessing the data, who's the right one to access the data. And the application, do you have people to look into the vulnerability? Can people exploit all the application layer vulnerability? Do you have the logs to trace? Host layer is that, do you have any antivirus to make sure that your end user computer will not be compromised? Internal network is that, do you have the right proper segmentation, the segregation of different networks? The parameter is that, of course, this is the most common thing that people talk about. Do you have firewall? And have you reviewed your firewall rules? Do you make sure that the policy is updated? Of course, physically, like what I say, your data center, do you have log? Do you have a CCTV? Do you have the proper procedure to register your visitors? And at the foundation of it, policies process is the first thing that you need to actually start looking into in order to actually have a holistic security defense. But to do so, ended up, a lot of people will start thinking that that will be too complicated. How do I systematically look into it? So we strongly encourage, and this is something that you can even actually find it from Google. So you actually can start thinking about, and you can actually do it yourself, save some money from there. You see that on the left-hand side here, we still talk about same thing, the category of different defense of layer of data, application, network. To talk about it, and then there may be different vendors will actually come in and propose you how do you secure the data from file encryption, backup, email security, application layer, SIEM, vulnerability management, different layer. The user will start to have some confusion, say, hey, I have so many things to look into, then now how do I prioritize? Which is why I talk about CIA, confidentiality, integrity, availability. In this different area, you ask yourself the question of, okay, what is the risk impact? How important is this in terms of the confidentiality, the integrity, or how does it impact on the availability when I have these things or when I do not have these things? And then you come up with also the likelihood of what if this situation fail? How likely this situation will fail? From there, you do the multiplication, then you'll be able to find out among all these different selection of segments, which are the areas that have the highest risk. With that will help you to start prioritize on the area that giving you the highest risk. When it comes to the way that you register your risk, of course, there is this recommendation where if it's highly critical, once this thing, let's say, is compromised, it will affect the profitability or even the entire operation of the organization. Then you put it high rating. But if it's very low, that means that it's not really significantly impacting your organization, put it as low. And you ask yourself or ask your business user about when this thing happens, how likely this thing will happen, sorry. If it's really likely to happen, put it the high score. And when it's not, of course, you put it a low score. With that, you can easily come up with the metrics. Oh, sorry. You will come up with the metrics to show that, okay, what are the highest possibility and highest impact? That is your job to focus on the high severity and high likelihood to happen. And it can be done yourself, and then you can save some budget from there. Of course, some people say, hey, there's a lot of other detail. Indeed, if you really interest to actually get some consultant to get it done, also actually it can be done. And usually consultant will do this. They do site visit, they observe your activities, they interview your staff, they will examine your procedures, make sure you have all the necessary documentation and process in place. And they will help you to actually again look into this thing and to identify what are the high risk and high possibility, so that you will not spend budget in an efficient way or effective way on the low risk, low budget kind of protections. And this is very crucial. And in fact, if you engage some consultant, this is what Netassist do. We usually typically also will conduct the assessment from the risk point of view. What it means is that our consultant will start asking a lot of questions like, what if there's office break-in? What if there is a hardware failure? What is the software failure on all this? And what is the impact on your different processes? And what is the CIA impact again? Confidentiality, integrity, availability, and we'll actually verify against some of the international standards to show that this is something that being well thought of and holistically being assessed. And from there, we will list down all the different aspects and risks, and then the recommendation. So with that, I hope I have given some idea, and that will be something will help you to save some cost, but yet focus on the budget, using the budget on the most crucial area. With that, I hope I have to give you the necessary and relevant information. Thank you. I'd like to pass back the control back to Securemetric. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. Sorry, we were maneuvering around the technical issue. So right now we have arrived to our Q&A session. So as I mentioned just now, if there's any question arise, it would be best if you leave in the chat box section. If not, I personally have question, to keep the conversation going. I have a question to Hassan, our first speaker, because you talked about, business compliances and the digital transformation. We understand how some companies even have policies for go green or save the earth and saving the paper, going paperless. So would you be able to share with us what is the difference between electronic signature and digital signature? I know you mentioned a lot about these two. Perhaps you could enlighten us the difference between these two.
Sure, Nabila. So just to reiterate the question, so people will be are well aware and well versed with the physical signature concept. So they use a pen and paper, they just sign the document, and that's how they perceive a signature to be. So when we transform this physical signature to electronic form, it's in a way, say it's an electronic signature. So it replicates the physical signature and transforms to the document, onto the document, which you can see. We can see your signature style and so on. But then when we talk about digital signature, it is specifically targeting towards the certificate. So when we have seen earlier, when we talk about digital signatures, certificate authority, so that's where a digital signature comes into the picture. And usually when you sign a document with a digital signature, you do not see it immediately. It's like an invisible signature, we call it as. So it will be embedded in the document itself. So maybe I can try to show up a document where you can see what are we really talking about. Let me just pull up a sample, an example. So in the meantime, so we see this a lot. So when we go to customer meetings and an event and so on, people do have a lot of questions. So they get confused between, oh, digital signature, but we want to still see the physical signature. We want to still make sure that it is still visible, So we try to make the best of both worlds. So we have the physical signature, which you can see on the document, as well as the digital signature footprint, which will be embedded inside the document, and you can only see the signature when you open up a PDF reader, basically because this digital signature is only supported by a PDF document, and from there you can see the information. Unfortunately, I think it's not working on the sharing. No, never mind. So I hope it gives you a better picture and clarity on the differences between an electronic signature and a digital signature. Back to you, Nabila.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. We were trying to allow you to share the screen, but it wasn't working. Moving on to our second speaker, Ms. Azlin. I also have one question to you. So how do you recommend digital customer onboarding components to the customer? Would you be able to share a little bit with us?
Thank you, Nabila. Okay, about the question, so how do I recommend digital customer onboarding, components to the customer? So usually when I meet the customer, I will ask, what is their use case actually? Is it an agent base or it is full set of self-service? So like I mentioned in the presentation just now, that we have several components from the extracted document, ID document, collect data, and then facial recognition part, and also the document authenticity checking. So depends on the use case. Either you want an agent, your agent move from one place to another place and with your end customer, or your end customer you just use a cell phone to onboard themselves. So for agent case example, maybe you can implement only a few components. Not necessarily you have to implement all of the components. So maybe just you want to use only document data collection, yeah. Then snap your IC, snap your customer IC, and auto extracted the information like name, address, yeah, everything which is printed on the IC or passport, and auto populated into a system or your application. For second case is for full self-service. This case like maybe digital full banking example. So I will usually recommend to the customer, let's use all, because you have to comply with the guidelines, and that is the only way for you to onboard the customer. Yeah, that's
okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Azleen. And also to our third speaker, Mr. Hon Foon Ping. I think it's very interesting. You shared a lot about the mitigation of cybersecurity and the threat that comes with it. And you mentioned about the security risk assessment. So what would you recommend for organizations to act immediately right now? Should they cut budget just to work on cybersecurity? Would you want to share about that with us?
Thank you for your questions. In fact, if budget has an issue, I would recommend to do immediate security assessment on their own, because in fact today information are easily available and there are a lot of recommendations on the way we can conduct our self-assessment for security. That will help organizations to save some money. But this assessment will be very crucial to help to justify to the senior management on which are the risk area, and then from there help the senior management to start deciding on how to put in their budget on this different area of the security. Yeah, this will be, I strongly recommend to do a self-assessment, or if you have a budget, even better that you can get a consultant to help you to get it done. Thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you so much to the speakers for your sharing. Those were very informative. And I think now that we have a clearer picture on what to do, on what to act next, so things are clearer now. So this is our final call for questions. If our audience has any questions, final call 1, final call 2, and final call 3.
Okay. Sorry, Nabila. I like to actually offer something here. Yeah. For those whoever they're interested to get to know how this risk assessment can be done, which we have some template, kindly talk to Securemetric, and I will pass this information to Securemetric so that Securemetric can share this information to whoever they're interested to do a self-assessment. We have conducted some kind of mapping, which is a template that you can easily use it to actually do a self-assessment. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and for investing your time. I guess we could dismiss our session from now, and take care and stay safe, everyone. Bye.
Thank you so much. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.